Welcome to Conversational Currency, the fastest growing talk show, which focuses on the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era, told through the lens of today's business and thought leaders. Now, I'm your host, Shadidi Laser. And ladies and gentlemen, communication is a superpower. And if you are able to say the right words in the right moments to every man or woman in a business setting, can you imagine what your quality of life would be? Now, in this conversation, we're taking messaging and we're using the medium, the art, the science of podcasting. And I couldn't have this conversation alone. So I had to bring in one of the world's foremost experts who will discuss how the audience of current and aspiring entrepreneurs and senior professionals can utilize the medium of podcasting to finally get your message out to the world, or if you have an existing podcast, how you can fine tune some strategies in order to sharpen your message, build your platform to be an agent of change and awareness for causes you support. So I bring to the stage, Doug, please tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you were called to the message and mission of podcasting.
Interesting. And thank you for having me here, Shadid. I'm not sure how I was called more so than I was pushed into. Sometimes it comes from the most unlikely of sources. I spent 30 years as a entertainer in the Washington, D.C. marketplace, actually in the high-end social scene in D.C. as a mobile DJ. So I was a guy that was out there, in front of a crowd, not a good dancer, but doing some dance moves in front of groups of 150, 200 people. And I discovered after about 30 years of doing that and over 2,500 events that maybe my life had a higher purpose. Maybe there was a way that I could bring a message out to a larger community in a different manner. And while I'm certainly not diminishing the fact that I've entertained people and that has an important value in people's lives, I really didn't feel like I was having the impact that I wanted to leave on this earth as my legacy. So in 2013, I reinvented my career to become a professional speaker and sharing my world of customer service and training to the business community, taking all the business skills and the entertainment skills that I had learned through the years of building a multi-million-dollar entertainment business, which was great, but it really didn't serve, I don't think, that higher purpose. So 2013 created this reinvention of my career. And then 2015 wrote a book called Nice Guys Finish First, which is all about my rise through the entertainment business and using nice as a tool rather than as a weakness. And needed a way to promote that book. So in 2015 created a show called the Nice Guys on Business podcast. And that was really the beginning of this next phase of my career. And podcasting just took over. I mean, it did take a couple of years to really, plant a solid stake in the ground. But once it did, man, it's been a force to be reckoned with. And we created a production company as a result, not because I was such a great speaker or business guy, but somebody in our community said, hey, can you teach me how to do what you've done with your show? Can you teach me how to do that? Literally just one community member. Don't underestimate the impact that one person in your community can have on your entire life. You don't have to have this huge audience. You can have one person that impacts your life. And that person was Lou Diamond for me in our community. And that was really just the beginning of this next phase of my career, which is in production and running that business too.
So much to unpack from your story and your inspiration. And for those of you who are listening to the words of Doug and viewing the story as it unfolds, it's important to understand that many of your talents and your gifts that you're going through now may play a greater purpose in some point. So in building a business in the entertainment or mobile DJ field, it planted the seeds to a greater purpose where we see today. Now, you mentioned Nice Guys on Business, and our discussion here is about podcasting. Now, I'm serving as a lightning rod for the audience, and someone somewhere is watching right now, and they say, well, podcasting and monetization, and they have some let's say, a disconnect about building a platform that includes their message, which they may feel as sacred, and the disconnect, or let's say feeling uncomfortable about charging money or sponsorships, what would be your message to someone who has a fear or apprehension about monetizing their podcast platform?
Great question, Shadid. That's probably one of the questions that goes asked many, many times, probably far more than many of the other things, because oftentimes that people feel like something that comes as a gift to them, like something that comes easily to them, whether that's writing or speaking or owning an ice cream shop or whatever it is, or a passion project. They oftentimes feel there's a little bit of a inauthenticity to charge money for that. And don't be afraid of the fact that something that comes easily to you may be challenging to other people. So the thing that came easy to me was opening up the microphone and just having a conversation, having interviews, talking to people. That came easy to me. And I had the same hesitation of, well, how is it that I could actually charge you? As a matter of fact, Lou, that guy I mentioned earlier, Lou Diamond in our audience, when he came to me and said, "Hey, can you teach me how to do that with my aspiring podcast to be?" I said, geez, I was very open with Lou. I said, Lou, I've never done this before for anybody. I wouldn't know how much to charge you, and I don't really know what the system is all about. He helped me actually create the monetization plan for building my podcast production business. Now, that being said, Shadid, keep in mind, people get into podcasting for really one of three reasons. They get into it to build a community and share their message. They get into it to be an influencer, the go-to thought leader, influencer in their space. So that's two. So community and influence. And the third reason is some people get into podcasting simply to make money. I mean, that is what their goal is. So if you lead with community or you lead with influence, really, ultimately, the byproduct of community and influence is going to be money. People are going to, even as an artist that has a great show, let's say, somebody that is a visual artist or a painter or anything like that. If you're an artist and you're sharing a message with your community at some point is going to demand that you sell them something because they want a little bit bigger piece of you. And the way to do that isn't to shy away from it. Your limiting belief says I should not be able to charge money for my gifts. And I think that that's wrong. I think you actually have an obligation to serve and to provide value by charging what you do. It doesn't mean that you're a sellout. It just means that you want to actually turn this thing into something of value. So don't be afraid of that. So community and influence, the byproduct is money. Influence, community, and money is the byproduct. When you make money, the byproduct is building community and influence. So they all work in, a great triad with each other to help you take your business and yourself to the next level. So please don't let the fact that you're talented and something that comes as a gift to you and something that is your gift that comes easily to you, don't let that be a reason why you don't charge money for it. You have the right to, and you should charge money for that.
Gifts, service, community, value, contribution. These are the key words that I want you to unpack when you listen to the replay of this amazing conversation and start to think about your value as the gift to the world that you have to offer, and never apologize for your talents and what you have to offer. And the value exchange that takes place will provide an expansion, will provide value for the people that you serve and support. It's very important for you, the listener, who wants to get your message out to the world, but struggles with that, the monetization or packaging of your services, your talents, knowledge, skills, and abilities, to understand what Doug is saying and follow those steps. Now,
Shadi, can I just add one thing? Because I really want to make sure that, and what you're saying is so valuable and there's so much wisdom in what you're saying. And I want to make an emphasis to your community about this. When I started my business and when I wrote my book, Nice Guys Finish First, and started the Nice Guys on Business, you hear the word nice used a couple of times in there. The word nice in business has always been viewed oftentimes as a weakness, not as a strength. And teaching somebody that's out there in my community, forget the money for a moment. Think about it this way. If your skill set, whatever that is your gift that other people have in their community, if you can draw one person out from your community and teach them how to use that gift to benefit mankind, forget about the money. But if I am teaching through my Nice Guys Finish First and Nice Guys on Business podcast, one person that could be better with this world because they're nicer and because that's something that they're attracted to. If I can teach one person, and if you could teach one person, we've taught two people together how to do exactly what they need to do in order to get their business and their self and that person in their community to the next level. That person that is maybe in the ditches, in the trenches right now, thinking, I don't know how to get myself out of here because I have this great talent of art and I don't know how to express that to the world. My feeling was, man, how great would it be if in business we could teach people, catching people in the act of doing something right as opposed to doing something wrong could really benefit mankind. And if the side benefit to that is making money, then great. And I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It was more of what you said was so wise. And I think I wanted to put just the cross on the T and the dot on the I for that one as well. So thank you, Shadid, for letting me share that.
Yes. Now you're tuning into Conversational Currency, and we're having a conversation on the art and science of podcasting with the Doug Sandler. Now, 1,100 plus episodes, Doug. What would you say is the greatest lesson that interacting with so many notable people and having the platform to tell people stories, what would you say is the greatest lesson that you've learned in this journey?
So there's a couple of them along the way that I think of when you ask me that question. And one of them is look for opportunity everywhere. and I'll explain that in a second, but because the second part of that is that the hidden gift that I've gotten from podcasting is not my community, and believe it or not, and it is not the products or services that I've made or made and sold to my community or to anybody else. It's not even the influence that I've been able to garner through having 1,100 episodes and being heard in 4 million times over the course of the last 5 years. The hidden gift that I've gotten is actually the relationships that I've built with those 800 plus guests of those 1,100 episodes that have been in the guest seat on my show. I've gotten free coaching and free advice from the top people in the world. And I was a guy that didn't know anybody before I started podcasting. I was a nobody in the world of podcasting, and nobody would just say, hey, I want to be on your show. I had to, in the beginning, hustle to get those first handful of interviews. But once you start to get some interviews under your belt and you start to understand what this is all about, the hidden gift of the relationships I've built, my 800 plus guests that have been in the guest seat for me have been my network. They've been my JV partners. They've been my folks that have created the affiliate relationships with. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars and built a huge empire of relationships and skills and knowledge from those 800 plus guests that I had no idea that was going to be a byproduct of having a podcast. And I would say just the fact that I stayed in the game, longer than the 12 episodes where most people kind of quit is a testament to the fact that anybody can do this. I am not special. I did not do anything differently other than just stay in the game long enough.
Now, 1,100 plus episodes will place you at the top of the mountain. And for many people who are just getting started or they have a message that compels them, keeps them up at night, you're essentially throwing down a rope and saying, hey, you at the bottom of the mountain, here's a rope to be able to climb up in the form of your masterclass. Can you please tell us a little bit more in depth about the masterclass and what to expect?
Sure. And I want to make sure that everybody that's listening is very aware of actually how we do this. I throw the rope down, but instead of saying, come on up, I'm going to go down and I'm going down to the bottom with you. I'm going to grab you like a fireman would grab somebody, throw you over my shoulder and say, let's go. Because for me, it really just isn't about the teaching. And the masterclass is wonderful. And it's a way that you can view the positive aspects of what podcasting can do for you. It's a way to teach you, the major three inputs of why people get into podcasting, which is building community, growing their influence, and making money. Talks to people about their limiting beliefs, the things that have been holding them back. Things like technology holds people back oftentimes. I don't have a personality or charisma enough. I'm not popular, so I don't have a big community that I'm bringing to the table. I don't have the time. I mean, those are 4 issues that we really take a deep dive into within this masterclass to teach you how maybe it's not podcasting, but maybe anything that you are doing that is holding you back. Those are probably the reasons why in today's technology world that people don't move forward. we also go through the practical steps of what it takes to launch a podcast, between the title and the description and the cover art and establishing the relationship with Apple Podcasts and iTunes and all the other ways to get your podcast out to the world. So the masterclass really is a very, very wide approach to, okay, if I want to do this, how can I do it? If I'm thinking about doing this, what has traditionally held me back? And we share with you what our formula is. It's called the Ultimate Podcast Launch Formula. So for me, it's not a thinly veiled sales pitch with a little bit of content. It's a lot of content. And during that program, we're going to invite people to come with us if they want to do it. And if they do, great. And if they don't, totally fine. At least now you have an education and you can go out and do it on your own. So either way that you come to the table ready to get started or ready to think about it or just to try to figure it out, I'm happy to have you there just sitting in on the masterclass.
Greatest endorsement that I can give in support of the masterclass is that I personally will be participating in the upcoming launch of Conversational Currency, the podcast version. Despite going through radio and tons of live episodes, that is the next frontier. And Doug and his team are more than ready, willing, and provide the exact roadmap. And I will be participating in a super large podcast launch. That's the greatest endorsement that I can give. Now, in order to make money, grow your tribe, and build influence through the medium of podcasting, your next step is to go to bit.ly/podcast formula 2020. Now, if you take that next step as an insurance policy for your investment of time, you will also receive my rapid revenue strategy call, where I sit you down. And if you want to discuss podcasting, you want to discuss your mission, your mastery, and your message, what we will find are the hidden revenue streams within your particular business. And we'll find it in 20 minutes or less. If you sit down with me for about 5 to 7 minutes, at least 3 to 4 strategies will come out. I've delivered over 1,532 of these calls.
Wow.
So you will receive the rapid revenue strategy call as a thank you, as an investment for showing up to the masterclass, How to Make Money, Grow Your Tribe, and Build Influence Podcasting.
That's amazing, Shadid. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was again a very unexpected gift. I did not know that. We talked about something for your community that would make, as an incentive to participate in the program, and that's even greater. So thank you, and we will make sure that we announce that in the masterclass as well. So please, everybody that's in Shadid's community, go to that bit.ly link that he just dropped in the chat or that he just shared, and we'll make sure that we give a shout out to Shadid during the masterclass as well with this bonus offer. Thank you, Shadid, very much.
Yes, you're welcome. Now, bit.ly/podcast formula 2020. What you've had the opportunity to have a passenger seat view is a drive-through how you can take your current career skill set and use the power of podcasting to take your message, your passion, what keeps you up at night, and build a community to strengthen your relationships and monetize your skills, create a platform that allows you to empower causes you support and take care of your family through the power of podcasting. Now, you have questions and you need a path forward, and the masterclass will not only demystify the who, what, where, why, how, but also you get direct support in Doug coming down the mountain, bring you on your shoulder and marching you up the mountain alongside a very supportive team that will allow you to sharpen your business along the path of building your podcast. On behalf of the great Doug Sandler, I am Shadid Laser, and you've been tuning in to Conversational Currency. We are the fastest growing platform that focuses on the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era. You could have been anywhere in the world, but guess what? You chose to be here with us, and for that, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in.